Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. If you're new here, my name is Elena and I am the homeschooling mama to 3 kiddos. Today I'm going to take you with me as I jot down and kind of write out our homeschool calendar for the year. So we are taking a slower approach to getting the year off. Normally I am all about the back to school, get in the groove kind of feel, but this year I have just been holding on to summer vacation as long as I can. You could probably hear my kiddos playing in the background here. I was just not ready to let go of the slow summer vacation that we were kind of forming here at home. So what I wanted to do though is take advantage of the kiddos playing nicely this morning and at least get out our academic calendar for the year. So I thought I'd walk you along that and how I do it. I will say though that it is flexible, meaning that life does happen. And one of the perks of homeschooling is that you can kind of move and groove with your lifestyle, meaning that if something comes up and you need to rearrange your schedule, you can. So, if someone gets sick and you need to take a few more days off, then you can do that. Another thing too is that being homeschooled, sometimes when the kiddos are not that sick, they can still do school from their bed. So there's that too. But oftentimes we try to just let them rest if it is the kiddos that are sick. But there are other happier things too that happen throughout the year that you may need to move your calendar around for. You may have some really great opportunities to travel, or you may have visitors in, things like that. So it is flexible, but I still like to have some sort of game plan down to start from. So I'm going to walk you through that process today and how I go through it. The first thing I do is take out my planner. In here, I house my catch-all planner. Right now I have a little homeschool tab and a YouTube tab. And in my homeschool tab, I have listed out the child and then their main subjects. And then I just have some things that I want to go through with them, and this is the page that I'm using to write down what curriculum we've kind of picked for them. So I just have that out for reference. I've also printed out an academic calendar. This one is a freebie from Lovely Planner. I will list her website down below. You do need to sign up for her email and then you get a password, but she has tons of freebies on her website, so it is probably very much worth it. I think it is. But this is actually printed out as a full sheet. But what I did was print out 2 different versions of it and then printed it 2 to a page. And that way it kind of comes out as a half-page sheet. For my actual homeschool planner this year, I'm not sure that I'm going to continue throughout the whole year in here in my A5, but I'm not sure. I may go into a bullet journal. So that's why I went ahead and printed 2 different versions. That way I think this one will fit nicely in the bullet journal if I go with that, but this is the one I'm going to go off of and have in my catch-all planner as well. So I print this out. And then the last thing that I've done is on my laptop looked up the local school districts, their school calendar, so that I can have what days the public school kids are off. And the reason that I do that is because I can kind of stagger our holidays with their holidays. Some of them we just, clearly we're both going to be off, but I like to stagger our spring breaks or our Christmas breaks, because if I want to be out and about with the kids, it tends, as you know, with summertime to be a lot more crowded, and they may not get to do as many things. So I try to stagger it if at all possible. So that's why I have that up as well. In my state, we do not have to have a set number of school days, but you may want to check with your school, your state and what their homeschool laws are if you need to have a set amount of days. I know some states you need to have like a minimum, I think, of 180 school days or days of instruction, that type of stuff. So you may want to check with that. Another thing that I like to keep in mind is that we like to work off of a 4-day school week. So we typically will school Monday through Thursday, and we use Friday as either a catch-up day, meaning the kids, if they didn't get all of their work done Monday through Thursday for whatever reason, they still have Friday as a day to catch up on those subjects. Or it can be a field trip day, or it could just be a rest and relax day. However we see fit that we need to use that particular day. But I like having that extra day in the week to be flexible. So really it's more of a flexible Friday, I guess. So looking at our Looking at our local school district, the kiddos here, the public schools start on the 16th of August. I would actually like to start maybe a week later than that. I'm going to just circle it with pencil and see how far that puts us out throughout the school year. And the reason I want to start, there's a couple of reasons I want to start a week later. Now, sometimes I will start sooner than the school kids, and that gives us more time throughout the year, which is also an option at this point because I work in pencil first and then we go back in and kind of make it more finalized. But for now, because I've been enjoying the summer vacation type mode that we're on, I'm gonna start with a week later. So if we start school August 23rd, that gives us, well actually, that's a Tuesday. We can start on a Monday. I think that works good for us. So we're gonna start maybe the 22nd, and that gives us this whole week here of, or at least 4 days of, we can go to the park, or we can go maybe to places we haven't been going because it's been really crowded, and we can do those sort of things. We also thought that it would be fun to do something special on the first day of school and start our school year with a field trip, and so we'll see. But I think what I'm looking at is maybe starting the week after, starting on the 22nd. The next thing I want to do is go in and start circling any holidays that I want to be sure that we're taking off. So on the 5th, the public school has Labor Day off, and we also are going to take that day off because I believe that my husband gets that off from work. If there are some holidays that the school gets to take off, but my husband doesn't. Sometimes we will just go ahead and school that day anyways because husband is at work and that kind of thing. Or we may make it into a special, like more of a fun day, school day, where we do topic studies or unit studies, that sort of thing. But I think we will take off this day. And actually, instead of circling it, I'm gonna make a little square around it just as a keynote to me that is holiday. Now, I know sometime in October, my husband is looking to take some time off of work, maybe a day or two. So I'm gonna leave maybe 1 or 2 floating holidays in this month here. I don't know which day, so it will be movable. I'm not quite sure where we'll do. But for now, I think I'll mark it down. We'll mark 2 days just kind of in the middle here as a holiday so that I know that is coming up. I like to give my kids the time off if we can when my husband takes extra days off, because they really they're getting in family time. And you can do school when your husband's home, but we really, if we can, like to let the kids take that day off. But we'll see. If it turns out to be too few days, then I may go ahead and school that day too. But this is just how I'm gonna start looking at the calendar. November, we have Thanksgiving, and that would be on the 24th. So I am going to have them take off. I think we will do, and this is going to work out to be the exact days that the public school has off, but we're going to take off the day before and the day after, because just preparation for Thanksgiving and that sort of thing, I think will be good to have day before and day after Thanksgiving off. And then in December, we have Christmas. So Christmas lands on a Sunday. We are going to so this public school has these 2 weeks off. I think what we will do is kind of break up our week. So we will take off the 22nd through the 28th, and that'll be 7 straight days off of school. We'll do maybe 2 days of school just to get us back in the rhythm. And then we'll also take off the 2nd January. We can have 1 more shorter week in that January month there. We also like to give our kids their birthday off. So birthdays are a holiday for us. And so in January, we'll be taking another day off in honor of one of my kiddos' birthdays. So I'm going to mark that day off. So we'll also take the 30th off in January. So that gives us 2 holidays in January. Plus in February, the public school has a teacher's comp day I'm seeing, and then they also have President's Day. So we are but we also have a birthday in February. I think what we will do instead is maybe we'll take 1 day off, we'll mark 1 day off, and then see where we're sitting at when we get to the end. Same with the following month. we'll be sure they have a teacher development day, but we're just going to take a birthday off. And then in April, actually, let me look up, because the school doesn't always have their spring break coincide with Easter, and I would like for ours to coincide with Easter. So Easter for April 2023 will be Sunday the 9th, and their spring break happens the week before. So what I think we will do is, again, take half and half weeks. So we will take off the 6th and the 7th, and then that will give us Monday through Wednesday week here. And then we will also take off the 10th and 11th. And then that way we have just a couple of days when they're back to school, but we can kind of have slower starts right after Easter. So I like, as you see, to break up our vacation or our holidays that way, so that we're having maybe just shorter weeks instead of full complete weeks off. It just works better, I feel, for my kids and my family to not be out of routine for too long. So we'll take a total of 4 school days off for that. And really, one is a Friday, so that's kind of our flexible Friday school day off. But with having a high schooler and things like that, he really, his flexible Fridays end up having to have work on it, so it will be a day off for him. So we're gonna put that down for April. And then they are actually, school for the public school is out on the 26th of May. So they get out really early because they started earlier. I think what we will do though is, and the 29th is Memorial Day. So I don't think we'll be finished quite up in May. I think we may push our school year out into June. That's okay with us, because then we get the freedom to start earlier or things like that. So I am going to, for now, just tentatively mark down that June 9th may be our last day. And I do want us to take off Memorial Day as a holiday. And then there is another, I want us to take off, Veterans Day is November 11th, so I also want us to take that day off. That is a Friday, but I am going to mark it because leading up to Veterans Day, I like to help the kids do special projects and that sort of stuff in remembrance of that. So I make sure that I have that holiday marked down. So the next thing I do is kind of just take a look, and for me this looks pretty good. I will count out how many days we have per month just for my reference. Again, I don't have to have a set amount of days of school years per my state, but I like to just have a set amount or roundabout. I like to keep it at about 180 days because that's typically what your curriculum is running anyways. So I like to where we're sitting at with those. So I will go ahead and count these days and see how many school days we have for each month, not counting Fridays. Okay, so what I went ahead and did was I counted the days of the week. Let me see if you can see that. I counted the school days that we would have for the month, so without Fridays, and then that is with Fridays. So for the month of August, for example, we would have 7 school days, not including Fridays, but if we included that Friday, it would be 8 school days. For September, we would have 16 school days if we strictly did Monday through Thursday. If we included the Fridays, it would be 21. And the reason I did that is because some weeks we do go ahead and, like I said, we need to do either catch-up work on Fridays, or we just need that extra lesson in there. Also, if we do a field trip, like I said, or something like that, I go ahead and count that as a school day because, one, they're still learning. In all reality, your kids are learning all the time. But if it's a field trip, then it is, I guess, technically a school day because even public schools take field trips and count those days as school days too. So I give myself that leeway too. And then I went through, and then down here at the bottom, what I did was mark down again. So total, our school year as is, only Monday through Thursdays would be 154 days of school planned, and then if we included the Fridays, it would be 191 days. I'm good with this. I know somewhere in between there, we're sitting right about our 180 days, and I feel pretty good that this will work for our upcoming school year. Now, like I said, things change in life, and so you'll move your calendar and things like that. Some Fridays we will end up doing schoolwork or some kind of learning activity. Some Fridays we won't. There are days that you're going to have to take off that you didn't plan to take off. And all these things will work itself out. This is just kind of a small game plan to get you back into the groove of school. You being me, I guess, because this is our school year calendar. The other thing that I will do next is go over my son. My oldest son is going to be in 10th grade. And the reason that I'm going to go over just his curriculum, I'm going to go pull some of his curriculum and take a look at how many units we have and if anything like that needs to be divided up over the school year and see if the dates need to be moved. That's what we did with our last school year, and it worked out really well. We ended up pushing our end of school, our last official school date out, I think by maybe a week, which wasn't too bad, and it really was a slower week. And I went by his curriculum because he is in high school, and so things are a little bit different for him. And then my littles can always, towards those last couple of weeks, they were doing some review work, and they were also, it was more of a relaxed, fun school that we were doing as we were preparing for summer. And so that kind of works out towards the end of the school year. If my oldest still has curriculum that he needs to finish up and is not quite done, I don't like to finish the school year out for my two younger ones and then just have my oldest still be in school mode. I like us to all finish up together. But of course, your school is going to look different and unique to you. And again, another beauty point of homeschooling is that everyone's school is going to look different because everyone's family looks different, and that is okay. No two homeschools have to look the same. And that's it. This will probably, I'm hoping, will be a shorter video. I know I kind of tend to gab and talk on because I over-explain. But that is what our homeschool calendar kind of looks like and how I set up our academic calendar for the school year. Now, like I said, I will go in later and pull out my high schoolers' curriculum and see if there's anything that I can see how that needs to work out. I'm also going to pull out my daughter's language arts because we are using Sunlight with her. If you'd like to see our curriculum choices, I know I have a couple already up by the time this video goes up. I should have a couple up for our homeschool picks of what we're doing for each grade. For reference, this is 22-23 school year. I will be teaching 10th grade, 4th grade, and then my youngest, who is on the spectrum, will be doing a kind of first-second hybrid. I always kind of give him a hybrid type course, but in all reality, I think that all of my kids have kind of hybrid grades because I just meet them where they're at with their skills and their knowledge, and we choose accordingly something that's going to be enough of a challenge that they are learning, but not so far advanced that they feel like they're just never going to catch up. So I hope that makes sense. So if you have all the information you need for setting up an academic calendar, or you want to stop here, thank you so much for watching. But if you want to continue on, I'm going to go ahead and pull out my daughter's Sunlight Language Arts curriculum. I don't know if you can hear my youngest singing opera in the background here. I'm going to pull out my daughter's Sunlight and just count the weeks and see where we're sitting at with her to make sure we have enough. And then I'm also going to pull out one of my high schoolers' curriculum and kind of gauge what his timeline will be for his too. And I'll show you how I do that next. Okay, slight change of plans. I pulled out one of my high schoolers' curriculum. I actually was going to base it off of their science, but the science that we purchased is a DVD format, and I have to print from our DVD, and it's not working right now. I have to print from our CD reader. But looking at the back of it, it's divided into 14 individual segments, and I think it took us about maybe 2 weeks on each segment for the last one, if I'm remembering correctly, and I'm not even sure he had to do it daily. But even if he did do it daily and each segment was 2 to 3 weeks, that would give us plenty of time to finish this. So looking at my daughter's curriculum, we are using Sunlight with her, and it is broken up by weeks. She has 36 weeks of work worth to do for her language arts. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to count out our weeks and see how many we have, just to make sure that we're kind of on the right timeline here. Okay, so I went through and counted. I skipped a week or two, especially when we had vacations, and we're sitting at right about 35 weeks. So what I do want to do is either add on another week tentatively. So I think that's what I'll do. I will move our end of school date down to the 15th instead of the 8th, just to give us that leeway in case we're not getting stuff done. So this will give us a little over 36 weeks because some of our weeks are shorter than others. But at least I'd rather have account for more time than not enough time. And like I said, everything can be adjusted throughout the school year, but for now I'm gonna bump us over to the 15th, which is gonna change the dates. Okay, and so that added our school days down here too. It didn't add to our Fridays because I put it to end on a Thursday, or actually, it might have added one Friday, but I'm gonna leave it the way it is. So it would have bumped us up to 158 Monday through Thursday school days only. And then, like I said, it might be 191 or 192, but I'm fine with if we include Fridays. So that's why I like to go in and take a look at their curriculum as well, just to kind of gauge. And like I said, this will change, I'm sure, as we go through the school year. But this gives me at least something to start with. And then, of course, as I go in to look into my high schoolers, I will look at his curriculum, and if we need to adjust, we can adjust as well. So if I need to adjust my high schoolers' curriculum to fit in, we will either start earlier at this point, or like I said, we can always add on into the summer months as well too. When we do summer school, we usually like picking up things that we didn't finish if it needs to be done. But I try to give ourselves some grace, especially if this upcoming school year. We are going to do a lot more flexibility if at all possible, because that's just kind of the place we're at in our life right now. But this is just going to give me a good starting point to get our school year off and to have a concrete day of this is the day that I want to start formally having our school get into gear. And then also for my high schooler, if we need to add in more Fridays for him, we can do that as well. So there's that flexibility in our school year too. But I just wanted to share, as I was getting ready to sit down and write out our academic calendar for the year, I thought I would hit record and share with you how we're going about doing it this year, in case you were interested in knowing. So if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up so that I know what kind of content you're looking for here on our calendar. And comment down below, let me know if you've already started school this year, what grades you're teaching, and how you're looking forward to it, or if you're feeling a little nervous maybe about it. I would love to be praying for you if I can, and just cheering you alongside on your homeschool journey. So again, thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't heard, or maybe you don't know, please know that you are deeply and truly loved and so, so appreciated. Thank you so much for spending your time with me.